You know, Cain's been out for a long time.
He's a motherfucker, though, man.
Oh, he's the best. I think.
You think he's the best?
I think he's the best in terms of like physical ability.
You think he's the best heavyweight of all time?
I think he's the best.
I'm thrilled that he's back. I love that he's back. Now he's going to take on a guy that was a #1 contender within the calendar year, and he's going to do it in a 5-round situation. I mean, Cain deserves some credit, too.
He's an incredible athlete, and what he has over everybody is power.
He is a monster.
He's terrifying.
A monster.
He looks like the heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, he looks like the heavyweight champion of something. The guy.
I've never seen anybody that hits as hard as Francis Ngannou. I'll tell you what, man. I can't fucking wait for that fight.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're back, and this week it's for UFC on ESPN 1, the first ever ESPN event with Francis Ngannou versus Cain Velasquez. So, really excited about that. And, you know, last week we had an event we actually did very well. We cashed on the first part of the week, so that was awesome. Also, want to give a big shout out to everyone. You know, I went over 1,000 subscribers. I've been trying to do that for a while, so thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate all the, you know, love and support, all the comments. You know, obviously, you guys don't have to do that, so thanks a lot for, you know, showing love in that way. But, I don't really have a lot of time to go over the old card or the card from last week, but we did do very well on that card, actually. We only got 2 wrong with Luigi Burin being incorrect and Callum Potter being incorrect, but our parlay of the week cashed fairly easily with Montana De La Rosa pretty much picking up a dominant victory over Nadia Kassem, and Ricky Simone picked up a very dominant victory as well over Hani Yahya, 30-25 on one card, very impressive. It was a little unfortunate. The main event got pulled. I hope Whitaker recovers, does better. I don't know what they're going to do with that belt, but we're going to move on. We're going to go into UFC on ESPN 1. And, you know, for the first fight of the night in this fight, it's going to be a women's fight, and it's Alexandra Albu. She's going to be taking on Emily Whitmire. And, you know, this is an interesting fight, you know, because Albu is someone that's very grappling heavy. Whitmire's had a lot of success grappling so far in a UFC career. She trains out of Extreme Couture, which is, you know, a very heavy grappling gym. So we'll see who's going to have the advantage there. But Albu's undefeated in the UFC. She has been extremely inactive. She's only fought once. She's been in the UFC since 2015. She's only fought twice, and she's going to be challenging Whitmire. She's coming off a win over Jamie Moyle. And Albu, she's powerful, but she's stiff. Her straight right hand and her right hook, they do have pop. She's very aggressive, especially in round 1. She'll throw the left hook, straight right hand combination. She'll throw a lot of body and head kicks. She will just run forward with punching combinations with very little setup or chin in the air. She's still very wild. She's kind of novice on the feet. She will attempt to use her jab, but it comes slow. Fighters are kind of easily able to counter off of it. She is explosive. She can close the distance pretty quickly. She'll throw a lot of spinning back fist. Doesn't really set them up very well. She doesn't have good movement. When fighters press her, she usually just backs straight up. Albu, she does have a good chin. She's willing to eat shots to get inside. She has a hell of a chin, actually. She'll eat huge shots. She'll continue to come forward. She had a nasty illegal up kick to the face in her last match against Curran. It seemed to not even phase her. She's 3-0 in her career, so she still has very little cage time. She's really not a great grappler, but she seems more comfortable grappling than striking. She's very strong. Against low-level fighters, she's been able to just use brute strength, you know, overpower them. And she can get backed up with punches, and she can put her back up against the cage herself. And opponents have had success controlling her, landing shots from that position, as well as getting body lock takedowns. Albu will also pull guard when she's in the clinch at times, which I think shows very poor IQ because she doesn't really have much of a bottom game really to speak of. And she will attempt leg locks off her back, but she isn't nearly dangerous enough or has a good get up game to be risking, you know, being on her back for the small chance of a submission like that. She can be controlled on the ground, and she doesn't really do much off her back once you pass her guard. She will explode, and early on she's able to get up, but as her cardio goes, she kind of gets more hard pressed to stand up. She did get a guillotine in her UFC debut when an opponent shot a double leg on her, so she has shown that. But she does have decent body lock takedowns of her own to go along with hip throws. She's very strong, a lot of power. She can really slam opponents down with force. And on top, she will frame opponents' faces, try to land hard hammer fists, big elbows. And she leaves a lot of openings, though, for arm bars. And she doesn't really have that great top control. And when she's able to get the hip toss directly into side control, she seems much more comfortable there than being in someone's guard. She'll throw a lot of short elbows, but she still doesn't have a overly dangerous top game, really. And, you know, but with her, tooling, her power could give good top control and ground and pound ability for the future, but she still hasn't been able to show that in the cage. She only has one finish via ground and pound, and she has finished 2 of her 3 pro fights, but she has questionable cardio in my opinion. She doesn't really know how to pace herself yet. She has a lot of raw intangibles, but she's still learning the basics of fighting, such as composure, decision making. And Albo should look to strike in this matchup, avoid the urge to grapple, in my opinion. She's going to be the faster, maybe more powerful fighter, and Whitmire is hittable, and she's definitely developing her striking as well, so Whitmire is not going to be levels ahead of her on the feet. If this fight becomes a 3-round striking match, I feel Albo is more likely to win, and, I feel like she's also more likely to hurt Emily Whitmire if that happens. And for Emily Whitmire, she's a long-time Extreme Couture product. She's primarily a grappler. She fought the much better competition of the two, along with having much more experience. She had her first amateur fight all the way back in 2010, and Whitmire, she's coming off an upset victory against Jamie Moyle, and she's once again an underdog here. Whitmire's more polished striker than Albo. She's a tall fighter. She has a 4-inch height advantage in this fight. She likes to use her jab, straight right hand. She keeps her punches straight, and I do feel like the jab should cause Albo problems in this fight because she doesn't really feint or use anything to get inside. And Whitmire will throw the occasional round kick to the body. I have not seen her throw the front kick to the body much, but I feel that kick will be more effective in this fight if she decides to throw it. Albo comes in on a lot of straight lines. She could use it as a second jab almost, along with putting money in the bank with the body shots. She will throw decent inside-outside leg kicks at times. She likes to throw a straight right hand to a body kick combination. She really isn't very athletic. Albo is going to be the much faster girl closing distance and with her hand speed. And she tends to stand tall at times. She doesn't really have the quickest feet, so Whitmire kind of needs to be a little weary of being in close or being with her back up against the cage. But she improved her footwork a little bit, but she still is too out flat-footed. She isn't really dangerous. She doesn't have knockout power, and she has been TKO'd one time on Tough, but she wasn't really hurt bad. She just kind of got stuck in a position on the ground that she couldn't get out of. And she's big and physical for the division. It's going to be interesting to see if she can hold her own in the strength department, because Albu's a really, really powerful girl, but Whitmire was much bigger than Moyo in her UFC 115-pound debut. She'd previously fought at 125. She's a wrestler. She has fast entries on her clinch takedowns. Good job getting strong body lock position, finding angle, dumping her opponents. She will control position in the clinch. If she can't land the takedown, she'll, just waste time there, look for trips, land some knees. And she got an armbar against Christina Marks on the show. She lost to Roxanne on the ground, though, but she's not very good off her back. She showed some slight improvements in the Jillian Robertson fight. She showed a little bit of heart. She persevered through a couple bad positions, but overall, she doesn't do a good job not letting her opponents get in dominant positions on top. Eventually, she'll let people get to mount, take the back. She did do a good job getting Robertson off her back and getting on top in her guard, landing a little bit of ground and pound, but she eventually got caught in an armbar pretty quickly after that. But Jillian Robertson's proven to be pretty good with her jiu-jitsu. She does have a nice double leg takedown, especially she got a pretty good one in her last fight. Nice timing on it. She definitely looks to be improving with her wrestling. She used her length to stand up and land shots in the guard, then quickly moved to half guard. She's very heavy in half guard. She doesn't really give her opponent space to stand up. She likes to trap the closest arm with wrist control and, her knee, then land ground and pound. And she can almost get almost like a modified crucifix position from the half guard. She will look for arm triangles, and if opponents get too crazy trying to explode, she will just take them out. If she gets on top Albu, I don't think Albu will be able to stand up, especially if it's later on in the fight. And Whitmire definitely needs to respect the athleticism and power of Albu early. She needs to get inside, clinch up with her, put her on the cage, land body shots, control her, zap her gas tank a little bit. Then in round 2, when she's slower, straight punches will, cut Albu off a little better. She should also look to duck under, get those double legs when Albu closes distance. And she's going to have a cardio and technique advantage, so definitely needs to use that. And Whitmire should be the favorite in this fight, in my opinion. I feel like the line is just flat off. And, she's the more tactical fighter. She has more experience. I see her relying on that early, knowing Albu will be more dangerous, following a game plan to slow her down, take her down. If she gets on top, I don't think Albu will have anything for her. And I see Whitmire taking a decision in this fight. I see Albu's gas tank failing her as the fight goes on. And I think Emily Whitmire is going to get another upset victory here. So my pick is going to be Emily Whitmire to get this victory via decision in this fight. Oh man, now we have this fight here. Good matchmaking here with Luke Sanders versus Renan Barão. You know, kind of a bit of comedy here. Two guys that are kind of almost impossible to trust with two very different legacies, though. You know, Renan Barão, former pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world. Now he's kind of been a ghost of his old self since his loss to TJ Dillashaw. A lot of people say USADA has something to do with that as well. But he has lost 4 of his last 5 fights. He looked progressively worse against progressively lesser competition as well, so that's not a good trend. He looked awful in his match against Andre Ewell. And Luke Sanders, he looked pretty bad in his last fight also. He lost very quickly to Hani Yahya. He showed some awful fight IQ in his UFC career at times. He's actually the older fighter in this matchup, but much less weathered. He definitely has a lot more left in the gas tank. In Renan Barão, he's much less explosive. He's not the dangerous fighter he once was. He really doesn't even show glimpses of what he once was on the feet. He likes to circle, walk opponents into his strikes. He'll throw jabs, check left hooks. He'll still throw front kicks to the body. He actually has nice low kicks, but he doesn't deal well with pressure. His speed that he once had is basically gone. He will throw lazy jabs. Fighters are able to counter with the overhands, hurt him. He'll throw straight punches down the middle. He will throw a left hook, straight right combination, but he doesn't let go nearly as much. He's a bit gun shy. Rarely throws body or head kicks anymore. Isn't much of a knockout threat. And Barão hasn't had a KO since 2014. He does have 8 in his career, but his durability has diminished significantly. But he still has only been finished twice, both by TJ Dillashaw. He has become more of a grappler in recent fights. He'll look to get double underhooks in a clinch. Has good head position. He can control opponents against the cage. He will look for body lock trips. He's a black belt at BJJ. He has good top control. He could definitely hold opponents down, but he isn't very dangerous. He was able to get a takedown his last match. He won round 1 because of it. Almost got the submission with an armbar. But he was able to get half guard, laid some decent elbows. Also attacked with an arm triangle. He had a very easy path to victory in that fight by continuing to get takedowns. And he just didn't do it, man. It seemed like after the first round, he was on autopilot. He gassed out completely. He was just trying to survive rather than win the fight. And he has 15 submissions in his career, but none since 2014. He's lost 5 of 6 fights. He's really the definition of a shot fighter. And he's going to need to try to submit Luke Sanders here, in my opinion. Sanders hits hard. He's faster than Barão at this stage. And if Barão stands with him, I kind of find it unlikely he's going to catch and hurt Sanders. Sanders is going to be the busier, more powerful striker. Barão should look to try to take him down, exploit Sanders' BJJ like Hani Yahya did, or Yuri Alcantara did, and find a submission. But Luke Sanders, very up and down in his UFC career. He has decent intangibles. He's one of those fighters who's usually winning until he's losing. He's athletic, much more explosive than Barão. He has big power. He can close the distance with one shot. He has a good jab. He throws nice 1-2s, jab right hooks. His hooks have big power, and I do think he could hurt Barão when he lands. He will throw straight punch combinations. He's aggressive, but he doesn't throw kicks much. He will throw occasional head kicks. He definitely has power, like I said, 6 KO TKOs. He did get knocked out one time by Andre Sukumtath, but Sanders is a physical fighter. He's going to be the more powerful fighter, and he likes to push opponents behind the black line with pressure, use punches to get in the clinch. He has nice knees to the body. He has solid control. He will land nice shots off the break also. He has good single legs, and on top, he's very effective with ground and pound. He showed that off with brutal ground and pound from that wrestling ride position against Yuri Alcantara. He has good top control. He was able to stop Maximo Blanco. He dropped him, then quickly submitted him with the rear naked choke. He can have lapses of concentration on top, get submitted. He was submitted by a leg lock after he dominated Alcantara, and he has good takedown defense himself. I don't think Barão could take him down easily, and he was just quickly submitted by Hani Yahya. He should be working on a submission defense. He does have 2 submissions. He's been submitted twice. And he needs to keep this fight standing, use heavy forward pressure, not let Barão back him up. Put the volume on Barão. If he can land clean, I could see him knocking him out. And I'm going to go with Sanders here. He should win. He just needs to overwhelm Barão. I think he could finish him, to be honest. It's hard to trust Sanders here, but I see him getting a late second or early third round TKO in this fight. And hopefully Barão retires after this match, because I just don't think that he has much left, man. It's kind of hard to watch him continue to fight. And up next, we have a women's fight here with Jessica Penne, and she's returning after nearly 2 years off. She was suspended by USADA for 18 months, and at 36, it's hard to gauge what she'll look like in a return, but Jody Escobar, she's 0-2 in the UFC. She's coming off a pretty embarrassing loss to Jessica Aguilar, and Penne, she's actually 0-3 in her last 3 UFC fights, so I imagine This is a loser gets cut match, and it's kind of a striker versus grappler fight. Penne, she's a former Invicta champion. She's a UFC title challenger. She's primarily a jiu-jitsu player. She's not a great striker. She's tall. She throws a jab straight, a hand out there. She has a decent one too. She'll throw a right hook. She will throw a lead overhand rights. She has good front kicks to the body, front and round kicks to the head. She isn't very fast. Her defense is not good. She doesn't move her head. She'll stand in front of opponents instead of moving her feet, and she can get backed up to the fence and just shell up. She has a hell of a chin. She has good mentality. She can weather storms, come back to win. She took massive punishment in her 2 TKO losses, but she never fell down. She was finished standing versus Joanna and Andrade. And she isn't a big standing knockout threat. She only has 2 career TKOs. She is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. She's a solid jiu-jitsu game for sure. She will try to duck under, get double underhooks, and if she can get into the clinch, she'll grab that Muay Thai plum. She'll try to land knees to the head. She'll try to hold opponents against the cage in the clinch. And she has decent head position. She has very good body locks. She'll pull guard as well. She does a good job trying to jump on the back. She will attempt double legs, but she can shoot them from too far outside at times, get countered with big shots. And if she can get on top, she's aggressive. She'll look to move to mount. She has good ground and pound. She can get high on the mount, get rolled off at times, but she's also aggressive off her back. She's very good in the scrambles. She's a very good guard. She has dexterous legs. She'll use her high guard, even a rubber guard. She attacks with go-go platas. Nice elbows from her guard. She's always putting her opponents in danger of the triangle of the armbar. She has good sweeps off her back. She's very comfortable there. She has 8 submissions in her career, and she's only been submitted once by Michelle Watterson. She has good cardio. She's going to be coming in here with much more high-level experience. She has a good mentality. She also, will always feel like she can win the fight even if she's losing. And Penne should take this fight to the ground. If she can get on top of Escobar or even pull guard, I think she'll be levels above her on the mat. And in her time off, she has been in the gym, and hopefully she comes out here with a little better striking, and maybe she has a little bit new wrinkles in her game. But Jody Escobar, she's getting her 3rd crack to get a UFC victory. She's a striker. She's fighting out of Jackson Wink, and she likes to use a lot of lateral movement, then dart in for blitz attacks. She will throw a jab right hook or jab straight right hand. She will throw uppercut left hook combinations as well. She rarely throws kicks, but she will throw the occasional leg kicks, front kicks to the body. She kind of tends to struggle to find a range, throw from too far out. She's kind of air puncher, and she only has 1 TKO. She doesn't really have great power. I would be shocked to see her get a standing finish here against a girl with a tough chin like Penne. She's never been finished by strikes, and it makes her style of staying mobile, moving around, it makes her a little harder to knock out. But Escobar has a low center of gravity. It aids her in grappling situations. Her height makes it hard to shoot takedowns on her. Fighters have to use the clinch most of the time to get her down. She will close distance herself, crash in the clinch, control opponents against the cage. She has, good knees to the body, good knees to the head. She fought a very similar but lesser opponent to Penne and Deanna Bennett. And Bennett, in the one time she took Escobar down, she had a fully extended armbar. Jody Escobar was able to get out of it. Showed very good heart there. She's definitely not a quick tapper. But she got her back taken and submitted with the rear naked choke quickly against Alex Chambers. And if Penne gets her down, she will be in a lot of trouble because Escobar's lost 4 or 5 fights, and you have to imagine she's questioned whether she's UFC level. She doesn't have those memories of being that former Invicta champion, fighting for a UFC title, that Penne does to earn confidence from. Escobar, she needs to keep this fight on the feet. She needs to use movement, blitz in, land her boxing combination. She definitely needs to be more willing to get hit, step into range to land. And if this fight remains on the feet all 3 rounds, I see it being very close, but that's definitely Escobar's best chance for victory. But Penne, if she comes back looking good, she should win this fight. She's going to have a decent reach advantage, and she'll land her fair share of straight punches and jabs. I see her eventually getting her to the ground, and I feel she could submit her here. I think she's going to be hungry to make a statement in her comeback, and I'm going to say Jessica Penne wins via 2nd round rear naked choke in this fight. And up next, we have a pretty fun fight here with Scott Holtzman, who looked incredible in his last time out fighting Nick Lentz. And battle of 2 veterans here. Scott Holtzman, like I said, he dominated Alan Patrick in an upset victory. And Nick Lentz, he also had a good fight in his last time out. He had a nice finish against Gray Maynard. But Holtzman, he's one of the bigger 155ers in the division. He looked especially diesel in his last match, and I think he's going to have a significant size advantage. He started training at the MMA lab. He looked much improved in his last time out. Holtzman, he's fairly athletic. He's going to have a speed advantage in this fight. He likes to walk his opponents down. He has solid in and out movement. He will throw nice inside leg kicks. He has good straight left hand. He'll throw he'll throw left hooks also. He'll throw a straight left hand, overhand right, or a straight right combination. He does a good job throwing counter check left hooks or counter straight right hands. In the past, he could stay in the pocket too long, throwing kind of lazy touching shots, then get countered with a big power punch. Did that against Josh Emmett, but he didn't do that at all against Patrick. He does have nice uppercuts in close range, and when he backs opponents towards the cage, he'll swarm with hook uppercut combinations, good front kicks to the body, to the head. He'll also throw nice round kicks to the head. He does a good job faking kicks to set up his punches and vice versa. He likes to close the distance when fighters are against the cage with flying knees, flying kicks even. He has a strong chin. He can recover quickly. He has solid power with 4 KO TKOs, including one in his last fight, and he's never been finished. And Scott Holtzman, he's very physical for the division. He's a strong grappler. He has great double leg takedowns. He has good timing on him. He has strong drive as well. He can pick fighters up and slam them. He will grab a single leg, drive opponents to the cage, and then turn it into a double. He has good body lock takedowns also, and he's strong in the clinch. On top, he has good ground and pound elbows. He has solid top control. He dropped down Patrick in his last fight, took the mount, finished him with nasty ground and pound. He has a very good takedown defense. He's hard to hold down. When you do take him down, he does a great job popping right back up. He can be taken down against the cage with double legs, but he isn't much of a submission threat. He only has 2 in his career. He does have a rear naked choke. In his UFC debut, he got the rear naked choke. He's never been finished and lost to 2 solid fighters in Josh Emmett and Drew Dober. And Holtzman always comes in shape. He's always ready to go. He has good cardio. He's going to be the younger, more durable fighter. And I see him wanting to keep it on the feet, bang it out. He's going to be the quicker, more powerful fighter on the feet. If good pressure lets, go forward, stuff his takedowns, counter when he closes distance. I could see him catching and hurting Lentz with a big shot. But Nick Lentz is coming up on 10 years in the UFC. He's really had a great career. He's 2-1 since leaving ATT. He joined Hard Knocks 365 over there with Henry Hooft. He's had 3 solid showings. He's going to be in his 22nd UFC fight. And, with the win here, he'll probably be looking at a top 15 opponent again. He was given a bit of a cupcake in his last match. He fought the aging Gray Maynard, but he handled him like you're supposed to. He knocked him out with the head kick. And he's been known more as a grappler over his career. I see him trying to get this fight to the ground, but in interviews, I hear him talk about how he wants to become more of a striker. He's trying to transition his style to a fan-friendly style, which I don't know if that's good or bad. It seems kind of like, not great fight IQ, but if he's able to pull it off, he's able to pull it off. But Lentz is a bit of a plotter. He's aggressive, but he has nice heavy low kicks. He'll throw jab right hooks. He has good body kicks. He'll throw counter jabs overhand to overhand right. And he has some okay pop in his shots. He showed off a nice head kick in his last fight. He dropped and finished Maynard with it. He's also good at catching kicks himself and returning with strikes or taking opponents down. He does have 8 career KO TKOs. He's tough. He has a good chin. He's only been finished twice in his career. He's a grinder, man. His bread and butter is definitely still his grappling. He does a good job using punches to close the distance or just take shots to get inside, get in the clinch. He likes to get that single collar clinch, push opponents to the cage. Good knees to the body, to the head, great elbows. Good double legs as well, good body lock takedowns. And on top, he has great ground and pound. He'll throw nasty elbows, good punches. He kind of slow cooks a lot of opponents. Steady stream of shots, keeps them on their back. He's very opportunistic with submissions. He has great guillotines. He has 11 career submissions. He's only been submitted twice in his career. And Lentz is going to need to pressure Holtzman, force him into a grappling heavy fight. And if he makes a mistake, just jump on it, try to get the submission. Lentz is going to be outgunned on the feet a bit, in my opinion, but he will land some shots himself. If he can catch Holtzman in a submission or get top position, that's probably his best way to win, though. But I think Scott Holtzman should get it done here. He's going to be the bigger fighter. He's going to be more of a power puncher. I see him walking Lentz down, stuffing the takedowns, trying to force that stand-up fight. I could also see him himself getting a late round double leg, seal the round. But he needs to be careful not to get caught in a guillotine. But I'm going to say Scott Holtzman gets the win here via decision in this fight. And up next, we have a women's flyweight fight with Andrea Lee. She's 1-0 in the UFC. With the win here, she would probably be looking at like a top 5 opponent. She's going to be taking on Ashley Evans-Smith. Ashley Evans-Smith is a short notice replacement. And she was scheduled to fight Jessica Rose Clark. Andrea Lee was in late 2018, but Rose Clark had issues with the weight cut, so the fight was canceled. Then she got a rematch or another fight booked with Lauren Murphy, and Lauren Murphy had to pull out. So now Ashley Evans-Smith is coming in here. Or actually She's coming in here for Lauren Murphy, taking on Ashley Evans-Smith as a short notice replacement. She had that fight canceled with Jessica Rose Clark, so I do presume that she's in good shape. She's been sharpening her skills. She just had a fight camp. She had about 2 weeks notice for this one, so she should be in shape. But this is her first fight since her domestic violence incident, and we have to see how those distractions will affect her in the cage. She is the former LFA 125-pound champion. She has 5 consecutive wins. She has a lot of hype. She's a strong athlete. She's very physical for the division. She's an okay striker. Throws a lot of inside-outside leg kicks. She'll throw a nice jab, decent check left hook. She'll throw an overhand right. She does a good job digging in the body with hooks. She'll throw a hard body kick. She is a bit of a plotter with her footwork. She's hittable. Her defense on the feet leaves a lot to be desired. She could also throw kicks without setting them up, get countered. And she doesn't have big power with only 2 KO TKOs in her career. She is very tough. She's willing to eat shots. She has a good chin. Never been finished. And she's willing to keep coming. And she's very strong. She's good in the clinch, and it's where she's strongest in the octagon. She has great control. She has a good single collar, a Muay Thai plum. She lands hard knees to the body, to the head in the Muay Thai plum. Good job trapping a wrist while having an underhook. Throwing hard knees to the body. She'll close the distance, get body locks along with double legs. She also likes to get hip tosses in the clinch. She will circle to the back, drag her opponent to the ground. She can't get too over aggressive going for takedowns and be countered, ending up on her back. And on top, she does have good ground and pound. She has good passing ability. She has the ability to float, improve position as her opponents try to scramble. Good arm triangles. She'll transition to the back very quickly. Good rear naked chokes. She was throwing a lot of leg kicks from standing position in her last fight while Macedo was on her back. She was able to control a large portion of the fights that way. And I don't think Ashley Evans-Smith's going to let her waste time like that. But when she's on her back, she isn't very good. Once fighters are able to cement position on her, she is explosive. She's hard to establish top position on before jumping back to her feet. But once you get her to the ground, she doesn't have much. If you could cement that position, she'll allow you to get into dominant position. She'll allow you to land ground and pound. She has 4 submissions in her career. She was submitted in her lone loss. She's going to be the faster fighter, quicker in and out. She should attack the body, Evans-Smith, with kicks, then try to go to the head. She needs to stay off her back. But if she does end up out there, attack with submissions, try to stand back up. But Ashley Evans-Smith, she's 1-0 at 125. And with the win here, she'll be closer than a title shot that she ever was at 135, in my opinion, in the UFC. She moved her camp to King's MMA. She said she's helped build her confidence. She was scheduled to fight Antonina Shevchenko in 2018, but she had an LCL tear, and that fight was canceled. And she said that fight affected her weight cut for this fight. So you have to wonder if she's been 100% in this camp. But Ashley Evans-Smith, she's a former college wrestler, but she's preferred to strike in most fights. She likes to throw a lot of 1-2s, inside-outside leg kicks. She'll throw a double jab right hook, throw a straight right hand left hook combination. She'll throw front and round kicks to the body. She'll throw front kicks, spinning back kicks to the head. She attempted a couple spinning back fists versus Rawlings, but they were very slow, very telegraphed. She was doing a better job throwing in combination and close the distance to the last fight, but she still stands a bit tall. She's still stiff as a striker. She isn't very fast. She doesn't move her head much. She isn't much of a standing knockout threat, but she does have 3 KO TKOs, mostly on the ground. She has a strong chin. She's never been finished. She's taken bombs from girls like Ketlin Vieira, who's a powerful 135er. And she's a strong wrestler. She's a good grappler, strong in the clinch. She does a good job grabbing single collar clinch, letting shots off. She'll throw knees, short uppercuts. She'll attack the body with hooks. She'll also throw nice knees to the head. She has strong body lock takedown. She'll land directly into side control. Heavy elbows from side control. She finished Veronica Macedo from that position. She also has a solid blast double leg. She has a solid top game. She can finish fighters with ground and pound. She can be submitted in an Lee's guard. She will be in danger a little bit. She has been submitted twice in her career. She has no submissions. She slowed down a bit in the last round against Rawlings, but she doesn't have bad cardio. And Evans-Smith, she needs to use smart pressure, push Lee back, try to control her against the fence, take her down. If she can get takedowns and move into side control, I think she can do damage. She could be able to control Lee. I also think she could be stronger than Lee and have more volume in the clinch. That's going to be very telling in this fight, whoever is stronger in the clinch. This is a very close fight. In my opinion, I feel like Andrea Lee could strike and move. And if she could not go back to her tendencies of wanting to grapple, she can win. But Evans-Smith, I feel like, is going to be the better wrestler, maybe the more technical striker with more power. And I'm actually going to pick Ashley Evans-Smith via split decision. I'll say, though, if Evans-Smith knee isn't 100%, that's affected her camp, and this becomes a scrambling fight. She may tire and not be able to keep up, but if she's 100%, which I assume she'll come in close to 100%, I think she'll be able to get some takedowns and some top control. I think the striking is going to be probably a little bit edge to Andrea Lee, but close enough. And I see it being a close fight on the scorecards, but I'm going to say Ashley Evans-Smith picks up a split decision victory in that fight. And up next, we have a battle here with two bantamweight prospects and two undefeated young guns here. It's a fun striker versus grappler matchup. Manny Bermudez, he's 2-0 in the UFC. Benito Lopez is 1-0. The winner of this fight will most likely get a top 15, top 25 guy, and it's a big fight. Lopez, he earned his spot in the UFC off a tough split decision win against now fellow UFC veteran Steven Peterson on the Dana White Contender Series, and he followed it up with a win over Albert Morales. And he's a very athletic striker, very dynamic. He'll throw a lot of kicks, inside, outside leg kicks, body kicks, head kicks. He has nice front kicks to the body, to the head. He'll throw nasty round kicks to the head, great question mark kicks, nasty flying knees. His flying knees are very nice, and I feel like he's going to attack a lot with those in this fight to try to make Bermudez be wary of shooting in on him. And he dropped it, almost submitted Morales in round 1 after a flying knee. He has very nice spinning kicks to the body, to the head. He doesn't have great hands or footwork. He'll throw jabs out there. He'll switch stances frequently. He will throw straight right hands, right hooks. He can get clipped, though, with punches. And I don't like the way he reacts. He can freeze up a bit. He allows fighters to back him up, get inside. He needs space to be effective in most of the time. And fighters can nullify a lot of his game with forward pressure. He isn't the most powerful striker, but with the crazy techniques he throws and time in the cage, I could see him start to get in more knockouts. And he has 3 KO TKOs in his career. He's 9-0. And Lopez has very questionable grappling skills, in my opinion. He allows fighters to back him up to the fence. And he doesn't do a good job getting off the fence. He was controlled against the fence for long periods of time against Steven Peterson. He can get taken out with body locks or single legs. He also can get out muscled in the clinch. Fighters get circled to his back. If Manny Bermudez can get that position, he's definitely going to be in trouble. He is opportunistic with his own submissions. He'll dive on guillotines. He'll attack with triangles with the arm bars. I highly doubt he's going to catch Manny Bermudez in a submission unless he really hurts him with a shot first. He has good cardio. He's young. He's developing. And he needs to keep this fight on the feet, strike with Bermudez. He's much more dynamic. If he could time a knee or land a big kick, he could get a big-time knockout here. But Manny Bermudez, he's a very dangerous submission artist. And I've been very impressed with his UFC career. He's a little raw on the feet, but he has a good jab. He has decent head movement. He'll throw run-twos down the pipe. He'll throw left hooks. He can look uncomfortable at times on the feet, shoot from too far out, or kind of flop to his back. But his lead hand, it stays very low, and he can be open to striking due to that. He's obviously green in the striking, but he did have a big-time finish in his last fight of Davey Grant with a straight right hand. And he transitioned into a mounted triangle and submitted him. So he dropped him and submitted him. So he should get some confidence from dropping him with a strike. He just has 1 TKO in his career. He hasn't finished, and he hasn't been finished with strikes yet. Obviously, he's undefeated, so he's durable. He did get kind of clipped a little bit in his first UFC fight, but he seems like he's one of those guys that could. I don't think he's one of these submission guys that's going to quit. I think he has a tough mindset. But Manny Bermudez, I feel like he's going to be a legit contender in the future. He has incredible jiu-jitsu. His legs are extremely fast with triangles with the arm bars on bottom. He'll attack with the omoplatas. He does a great job attacking off his back. Nasty top game. He'll transition with ease to the mount. He does a great job turking the legs, doing the mount. He'll take the back. He has a good rear naked choke. He got a guillotine from standing clinch position, very similar to Cub Swanson versus Brian Ortega in his first UFC fight. And he kind of has similar jiu-jitsu. He'll attack with flying triangles. He'll jump on guillotines. He put Davey Grant to sleep with the triangle. And he has 10 submission wins. He's finished his last 5 fights via submission. Bermudez, he's going to need to close the distance, get in boxing range, use his hands. If he can land a big shot in his last fight or use them to set up his takedowns, definitely just needs to get inside, get the fight to the ground. And if he can get it to the ground, even if he pulls guard, he's going to have a major edge on the ground, even off his back. And I'm going to go with Manny Bermudez to keep it going here. I see him being able to get in the clinch, get the takedown, take the back standing, get a rear naked choke. And I'm going to say Manny Bermudez via first round rear naked choke in this fight. And I think he's going to style a little bit on Benito Lopez, put on a pretty dominant performance here. And up next, we have a really high-level bantamweight fight with Jimmy Rivera against Aljamain Sterling. And fantastic fight. The winner of this fight will position himself for a #1 contenders match, in my opinion. Sterling has been a bit up and down in his UFC career, but he looked fantastic recently. He's won 2 consecutive fights, 4 or 5 overall. And Rivera, he had a long winning streak snapped by Marlon Moraes, but he bounced back with a dominant win over John Dodson. Both these fighters have their most recent loss by KO to Moraes, but they're still elite bantamweights. And Jimmy Rivera is a very polished striker out of Tiger Schulman. He has a crisp boxing. First, a boxing combination in the pocket. He has powerful hooks, straight punches. His hand speed is phenomenal. He has some of the fastest hands in the division. He has great timing on a straight left to right hook combination. He has nasty inside-outside leg kicks. He brutalized the leg of Uriah Faber. He has nasty straight right hand that comes down the pipe with really no tell. Keeps his lead hand low. He does a great job countering while stepping back with a jab or a check left hook. He likes to throw inside leg kicks, left hook combinations. He will throw straight right, or he will stand right in front of you sometimes, waiting for you to throw shots, then try to slip back and counter. He's very diligent about constantly moving his head, faking and feigning as he moves forward to make him hard to hit. He does a great job waiting until you get in a range, being ready to explode and go first with a combination. He gets over aggressive when he gets hurt sometimes. He can get wild and wide with his punches. In the pocket, he has gotten dropped quite a few times in the UFC. He has a tendency to admire his work at times after he lands, get hit when he should be exiting. And he looked excellent though in his last fight. He completely nullified the tricky style of John Dodson. He won a clear decision. He's a very smart, sound fighter. He's going to stick to a game plan and get the win. He has 4 KO TKOs in his career. His 2 losses are by KO TKO. He is kind of has a questionable chin. He may be a bit chinny, but he is a wrestler. He doesn't use his wrestling much in the UFC. He didn't attempt any takedowns against Pedro Munoz, against Uriah Faber, against John Dodson. Against Alcantara, he only attempted 1 takedown. He did kind of show his wrestling a little bit against Thomas Almeida, but only after he was hurt. I feel like he only uses that when his striking isn't going well. He's fairly aggressive. He has good double leg entries. Best is getting double legs when his opponents are back against the cage. He's very physically strong for 135. He's short and compact. He has excellent takedown defense, 100% takedown defense in the UFC. He rarely overextends or puts himself in a position to be taken down. And he needs to have his takedown defense on point for this fight for sure, because Sterling's definitely going to test it. And Rivera is going to want to keep this fight on the feet, strike with Sterling. He definitely has a better boxing technique. If he could stake a pose, keep the pressure on Aljamain, defend the takedowns, he will have a solid chance to win. Aljamain Sterling, he's a scintillating athlete. He seems to be putting it all together. He's strung together back-to-back victories, both upsets. He's looking for another here versus Rivera. And he's much more of a grappler. He's a back-taking specialist. Kind of be a clash of styles. I don't expect Sterling to want to strike for long periods of time. Sterling is improved as a striker, especially with his hands, but he's still predominantly a kicker. Nice front kicks to the body, to the head, good leg kicks. He likes to throw a lot of round kicks to the head with both legs. He was doing a good job following up with the right hook after the head kicks in his last fight. He's definitely very quick with lateral movement, good forward pressure. He threw a back kick to the head to a knee to the body combination in his last fight. And in close range, he really doesn't have much in terms of striking. He'll throw the occasional jab. He has a good right and left hook. He'll throw up elbows, spinning back fist. For this fight, Sterling needs to be all the way in, connected to Rivera, all the way on the outside. In boxing range, I feel like get hit with hooks, with overhands. On the outside, he may have the quicker foot speed, try to control range with kicks. But to me, Rivera is great at cutting off the cage. His kicks usually don't have the power to keep a fighter like Rivera off of him. And I think he should definitely try to grapple in this fight. Sterling isn't a power striker. He only has 2 career TKOs. He has a good chin. He's only been finished once by KO. Both Rivera and Sterling have recent losses by KO to Marlon Moraes, obviously. And Sterling, he has a strong single leg takedown. He does a good job driving through on well-timed double legs. He has decent control against the cage. He can hold you there while looking for body locks. He's very good at trying to jump on the back from that position. He's strong on top. He likes to grapevine the legs, try to slide in him out. He'll put heavy pressure on you, land big elbows until you give him the back. On the back, he's super hard to get off. He has excellent control. He's able to lock in a body triangle. And really the round is over because you're not getting out. He has great chokes. He has good submissions because he's long for the division. He does an interesting thing where he gets a full Nelson position to flatten and tire out opponents in their back. And he has very good defensive wrestling himself as well. Good scrambles. He'll roll for leg locks to get up, etc. He has no problem going to the ground with anyone, showing that in taking down, having good control against Augusto Mendez. And, he has a gas tank that doesn't tire. He could push a pacer all 3 rounds. 7 submissions in his career. He's never been submitted. He still gives up the center of the cage. He's fine circling around, getting his back near the fence. And Sterling's going to need to earn his respect early in this fight. He needs to tag Rivera with some big shots or land a takedown to slow the forward pressure. I believe Rivera's going to want to pressure, get in Aljo's chest, stifle the kicks, land hard punches in close range. Sterling needs to give the illusion he's down to strike, throw some punches in the pocket, then duck under, get a single or double. I could see Sterling getting on a single leg pulling guard if he doesn't have success with traditional takedowns. But if Sterling can get in top position, I feel there is a possibility he could finish the fight. But I think Jimmy Rivera should be able to win this fight. You know Sterling's going to need to get this fight to the mat. And sure, he's been training that heavy, and he needs to also train and getting in bad positions. His fighters having his back and getting out. But Rivera will win this fight with his boxing, with his forward pressure if it's on the feet. And I feel like he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns to Sterling, keep it on the feet. And I think he's going to win a fairly dominant decision here. So I'm going to go with Jimmy Rivera to stuff the takedowns, keep the fight standing, and win a decision against Aljamain Sterling in this one. And up next, you have a fight with Andre Fili against Myles Jury. And both these fighters are fighters who feel like they can compete at the top of the division, but whenever they fight top competition, they've seemed to fall short so far. And both fighters had recent winning streaks snapped. Andre Fili lost a close split decision to Michael Johnson. While Myles Jury, he was starched quickly in round 1 by Chad Mendes. And this is another battle between Alliance MMA, Team Alpha Male, so there is that built-in rivalry here. Fili is a rangy striker. He has a nice jab. He has a good straight right hand. He'll throw hard inside leg kicks, body kicks, head kicks. He'll fake the jab, throw overhand right. He's good at darting in with a straight punch, angling off immediately. He's always trying to walk opponents into straight punches. He'll throw a jab, uppercut combination. He has fairly good movement, but he isn't the most athletic fighter. Opponents can cut him off. He isn't the fastest with his hand speed. Opponents can counter with straight shots. Michael Johnson was able to land a straight left hand at will in Fili's last fight. Fili is still durable. He eats shots no problem. He's dangerous with kicks himself. He has 8 KO TKOs, and he has been KO'd twice in his career. Fili is improving as a grappler. He actually has really nice double legs. He has great timing on them, and he explodes in quickly. He doesn't have the best top control, but he will try to jump on the back where the opponents try to stand up. He was able to almost get a rear naked choke against Michael Johnson in his last fight. He's long. It gives him an advantage in the clinch. He lands nice knees to the head, to the body. He's very hard to take down. He does a good job framing, throwing knees to the body. On top, he isn't great. He really just holds position. His takedown defenses look very good, though, recently. He stuffed all of Dennis Bermudez' takedowns. He was able to jump on Michael Johnson's back. Like I said, almost locked in that rear naked choke. He isn't a big submission threat. He only has 3 in his career. He has been submitted twice himself, but he has solid cardio. He pushes through fatigue pretty well. And he needs to use pressure, get inside of Jury's kicks, land his shots, and exit. And I feel Fili can deny the takedown attempts to Jury fairly easily, especially in the clinch. I also feel like he could possibly land a double leg of his own or 2 at the end of the fights. And I feel like he needs to be going forward, needs to be throwing kicks, keeping the volume high on Jury, getting him backing up, and kind of just avoid that big shot because Jury definitely has that one-punch power. But Myles Jury has been very inconsistent in his UFC career. He's a fighter who puts on performances against lower-level fighters that make you think he's elite, but he isn't. Whenever he's given a top 5 to 10 fighter, he doesn't have that same type of performance, and he's been in the same boat in his career, as Fili, and it's really the first time Jury's facing a guy around the same level as him. A loss here would kind of signify gatekeeper status for either guy. Jury, he has a nice jab. He has strong front kicks to the body. His straight right hand is fast. It's accurate. He has nice 1-2s. He'll throw an uppercut, right hook combination. He has nice timing on his jump knees. And he isn't really athletic. I actually feel Fili will have a hand speed, have a foot speed advantage. He doesn't have big power. He can land clean. He does have big power, and when he lands clean, he could put fighters out. That's what Andre Fili needs to be wary of. He has 8 KO TKOs in his career. He's shown a good chin overall, but he was knocked out for the first time in his career 7 months ago. And he's a strong grappler. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He has good body lock takedowns. He'll shoot single legs. He's good in the clinch. He has nice knees to the body, to the head. He can get controlled against the fence in the clinch himself as well, but his best takedown is definitely the body lock. He's very heavy on top. He does a great job passing guard. He'll move to half guard. He likes to attack with arm triangles. He does a great job getting the back, then the mount. He'll land shots while looking for submissions, floating, transitioning very well. He'll throw hard elbows from top position. He has good ground and pound. He has good cardio. He can keep the same pace all 3 rounds. He has 5 submissions in his career. He's He's only been submitted one time by Charles Oliveira. And Jury needs to be able to catch Fili with straight shots as he moves backwards. He has to have his footwork going in this fight, and if he can land straight shots, stand up Fili, then duck under, get on top, he's going to have a strong top game here, and I don't know if Fili's going to be able to handle that. But I'm actually going to go with the upset here. I'm going to pick Andre Fili to win this fight. Fili's going to be able to land more volume on the feet. I think Jury's going to try to take him down, pot shot him from the outside. Jury does always have that potential to land a big shot and hurt him or just move and land, but I don't think he will. I see Fili being able to get inside, land some shots, land some kicks. I also feel he's going to be the busier guy. I feel he could land a few takedowns as well. And I'm going to go with Andre Fili via 29-28 decision in this fight, but I'm not extremely confident on either guy in this matchup. And up next, we have a fight between two guys that are pretty underrated, in my opinion, with Bryan Barberena and Vincente Luque. This has all the makings of a stand-up war. Both these fighters are on a roll. Barberena is KO TKO 2 of his last 3 opponents. Luque has covered off 3 consecutive finishes. And Barberena is a hard-nosed fighter. He just loves to scrap. He's traded as usual camp to MMA Lab for this fight. Instead, he's elected to stay close to home, traded at Jimbo Tribe in North Carolina. So I'm not sure what kind of bodies he has to work with there. If he's the same level of camp he would have at the lab, but he has hard inside leg kicks. He'll throw powerful hooks and overhands. He's all about forward pressure. He wants to load and deliver powerful shots in the pocket. He has nasty right hook, and it's very powerful. He dropped Leon Edwards with a hard uppercut. He has good timing on it as fighters close the distance. He will throw the occasional body and head kicks. He's not a very active kicker, but he throws full power every time he throws a kick. He needs to be inside to be effective, and he knows it. He's tough. He's rugged. He'll walk POTUS down, eat big shots, get inside, talk shit, try to goad him into a war. And he has great chin. He'll wear opponents out by staying in their face, taking what they can give, still being there. He has 10 KO TKOs in his career. He's never been finished by strikes. And he's a decent grappler, but not great. He has good clinch work, gets the cage. He can reverse position. He can work from there with short knees, punches. He doesn't go for many takedowns himself, but if he does when he's on top, he has good control. He got a good arm triangle against Sage Northcutt. He has good takedown defense, especially against a cage. He'll land elbows, knees in a clinch while defending the takedown. He can get taken down, but he never accepts position. He's always trying to get back to his feet. He was able to get up multiple times against Colby Covington, who's a premier wrestler in the UFC. He has tremendous cardio, and this is a big opportunity for him to get a name over a big name, or get a win over a big name. And he's already fought and beat some decent competition in the UFC with wins over Sage Northcutt, Warley Alves. But he isn't a big submission threat. He only has 2 in his career. He has been submitted 1 time. He has finished 3 of his 4 UFC wins. He's never been finished in the UFC. But this is a tough stylistic matchup for Barberena. Fighters should give Luque problems or movers. He'll try to pot shot him, then take him down. Barberena is more likely to go fight fire with fire, get in the pocket, and I see who drops first, and I feel Luque is more technical, he's faster, he has more variety. Barberena needs to feel it out early, gauge the power of Luque, see if he can take the shots. If he can, his best chance just to make it ugly, get inside, throw bombs, clinch up, dirty box, or try to grind out a win. He also always has that chance to connect with a power shot of his own. But Vincente Luque is a very good prospect. He's shown amazing finishing ability. He's coming off yet another knockout win, and he's very well rounded, but his striking is what's impressive. He's very technical. He's long for the division. He uses that. He throws a snappy jab, inside-outside leg kick. He likes to throw a jab to a straight or jab to an overhand right combination. If he lands flush, he can one-punch KO opponents. He's a good athlete. His hands are very fast and loose. It's hard to see what he's going to throw next. He will attack with jumping knees. When he gets you close to the cage, he'll attack to the body with hooks. He does a good job mixing up his target, coming in on good angles. He has good hands, high style. He comes forward, does a good job cutting off the cage, making you fight off your back foot. When he gets in the pocket, he'll unload with overhand rights, straight lefts. He has a good chin. He's willing to take a shot to give one. He has 7 KO TKOs, including 4 knockouts in his last 5 wins. He's never been finished with strikes himself. And Luque has solid grappling skills. He has good takedown defense, good takedowns himself against the cage. He'll go for singles, for double legs. He has decent body locks and open mat. He has very nice submissions. His chokes are extremely dangerous. Nasty darts, anacondas. He does a good job catching those after hurting opponents. Also catching them when they go for takedowns. He has good top control. He's very active with his ground and pound and submissions. He has 6 career submissions. He's been submitted twice himself. His cardio is very good. He keeps a heavy pace on fighters. He's a finisher. He's finished 13 of his 14 wins. He's finished all 7 of his UFC wins. And Luque needs to use his forward pressure, cut off the cage, throw-in combination. He should have no problem finding the hittable Barberena. I think Luque should win this fight. I don't think Barberena's style will work here. Luque is not the guy you want to let hit you clean. I see Barberena getting finished by KO here. And I'm going to say Vincente Luque via late first or early second round KO TKO. And I think he's going to be fairly dominant in this fight. And up next, you have a pretty cool matchup here. You know, Gracie will once again be in the UFC. It's been 9 years since Gracie fought in the octagon. Kron Gracie is the son of Hickson. He's going to be looking to bring a little nostalgia back to the sport. The last time a Gracie earned a UFC victory was Hoist all the way back in 1994. So Kron, he's taken over 3 years off, but he's beaten some names such as Tetsuya Kawajiri. He has some experience fighting in big venues in Ryzen, so I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed by the moment. He's also been training with the Diaz brothers for years. And he's going to be taking on Alex Bruce Leroy Caceres, and I'm actually happy he's the one to get this matchup. Bruce Leroy seems like a pure martial artist, and I'm sure he covers the opportunity to even share the octagon with the Gracie, but Kron still looked very green in the stand-up in his last match versus Kawajiri. He likes to throw a jab straight right hand. You also slip a jab, throw right hooks. He'll throw a jab to the body to a straight right hand. He has thrown a couple front kicks to the body, but I've barely seen him throw any kicks. And he doesn't really set up his punches much with feints or fakes. He's hittable. He isn't fast. He's a plotter. He always just looking to close distance, grab a hold of you. And I imagine he's improved his striking over this time. He's tough. He's willing to get hit, unlike a lot of BJJ fighters. He has no KO TKOs, and that's not what he's looking to do. He's 4-0 in his UFC career. He's never been finished with strikes. His jiu-jitsu is just on another level. He's one of the best pure BJJ fighters in the world. He likes to close the distance in the single collar. He'll throw a lot of uppercuts, hooks to the body. He's excellent at pulling guard. He'll attack with flying triangles. He's great at getting his legs attached mid-air to have control of the body, keep his opponents on the guard. And his guard is phenomenal. He'll get very high guard, offset opponent's balance. He's able to take the back while his opponents still have to defend the armbar and the triangle, because he's almost like basically on your back while he's still in his guard. It's pretty crazy. He has the ability to use his legs to go from the guard to the back to the back mount. Like I said, it's just unbelievable. And he'll get the arm under the neck even when he doesn't have the back. He'll kind of contort his opponents to get the squeeze. He'll transition belly down arm bars to leg locks, take the back as well. And once he has the back, he's like a boulder, man. He's super heavy top pressure. He'll soften his opponents up with heel kicks, punches. And he's been in Ryzen where there are no elbows on the ground, something I feel he can use in future fights, but also something he has to be aware of if he's on bottom. He has tremendous cardio, and he's used to fighting 10-minute first round. So definitely he's going to be able to go hard in this fight. He has 4 submissions in his career. Even if his stand-up is really improved, he should get this fight to the ground. He should just safely close the distance, pull guard, not try to fuck around on the feet, or just try to get on top. If you can get Caceres on the ground, there's a high possibility of a submission. And Caceres, he's a long-time veteran in the UFC. He's never been a contender, but put on a lot of fun fights. He's coming off a controversial split decision victory in his last fight against Martin Bravo. He's won 2 of his last 3 fights. He's getting a big opportunity here to get a name over a potential hype train. And he's known for his flashy style. He throws a lot of spinning kicks to the body. He'll throw double punches. He'll throw spinning back elbows. And just overall, he's a solid athlete. He'll throw Superman punches. On the outside, he has solid lateral footwork, head movement. He's fast. He has some very pretty slips at times. Solid body kicks. His kicks are good from range, but when he doesn't set them up, he can be countered with straight punches. I think Caceres has a lot of wasted movement, though, because he crashes the distance to throw punches. He's not long with his punches. He gets caught coming in with shots. He has a very questionable chin. He gets rocked a lot in recent fights. Took a ton of punishment against Wong. He seems to get better as the fight goes on. He has great cardio. He has that Bushido spirit, but he isn't a power striker. He only has 3 KO TKOs in his career. He has been finished once by strikes. He's improved his grappling over the years, but he's still ions away from Kron Gracie level. He has decent body locks, reactive double legs. Against lesser fighters, he has good back takes. He'll attempt rear naked chokes, arm bars, but he can get off balance or get his kicks caught, get taken down. He can get taken down pretty easy against a cage, or even try to jump guillotines instead of defending. He was taken down several times in his last fight against Martin Bravo. He has been submitted quite a few times in his career as well. And the UFC is obviously trying to give Gracie a winnable matchup. He has been submitted 5 times in his career. He has 6 submissions himself, 19 UFC fights, and in my opinion, he's kind of on the back 9 of his career. He needs to have a hell of a performance in this fight. He needs to keep the fight on the feet, try to use movement, straight punches, keep Gracie on the outside. If he throws kicks, he needs to make sure to really set them up so they don't get caught. If he can make a 15-minute stand-up fight, he should have the edge. But Gracie's being set up to win here. I see him capitalizing on the opportunity. Caceres is wild. He leaves openings to be taken down. If Gracie takes him down one time, I feel he'll take the back at the rear naked choke. And we've seen how Gracie's, and we have to see how, like I said, we have to see how Gracie translates to elbows on the ground, 3 5-minute rounds. This is all a new thing for him. But I just see Chrome being too good on the mat, getting the fight to the ground, taking the back, getting a rear naked choke. And I'm going to say that happens in round 1. So I'm going to say Chrome Gracie starts his UFC career in style with the first round rear naked choke victory. And up next here, we have Cynthia Calvillo. She's going to be taking on Courtney Casey, cast iron. And, this is an interesting fight, though. But I feel like, obviously Casey's going to be wanting to keep it on the feet. Cynthia Calvillo is going to be wanting to try to take it to the ground. And, Calvillo had a big-time win in her last fight. She took out Poliana Botelho. And, by submission, she was a big underdog. I counted her out. A lot of people counted her out. Went in there off her layoff. Got a big-time win. And Courtney Casey, she got a pretty questionable decision victory in her last fight against Angela Hill. I thought Hill won that fight, but very close. It seems like Casey's always in those close split decision type fights. But, Calvillo, she has some decent movement. She tries to work behind her jab, a straight right hand. She has a decent counter right, check left hook. She'll throw occasional kicks, but she's definitely going to be wanting to take this fight to the ground. She's tough. She's never been finished by strikes in her career, so definitely has a good chin, but she's very dangerous with her jiu-jitsu. She's amazing in scrambles. Her flexibility makes her able to end up in dominant positions, even if she isn't a great wrestler. And, she is an active seeker of the takedown. She was able to get a nice body lock in the last fight. She has good timing on her double legs. She does have a nice duck under as well. Gets Esparza, was able to land a nice double leg. She'll try to get the single collar tie, shoot takedowns from there. But overall, I wouldn't say she's a great wrestler, but on top, she's one of the best girls in the division. She likes to use small ground and pound, make you move where she could scramble in a dominant position. She's very good at, using her legs off her back even to offset balance, create scrambles, take the back. Her taking the back is just what she really likes to do. That's her bread and butter. And she has very good rear naked choke submissions, very good triangles, nice arm bars, and she just is always a danger to submit you on the mat. She has good cardio. She can go hard for all 3 rounds. She got another submission in her last fight, and obviously she's going to be wanting to try to get inside, strike a little bit with Casey, get the fight to the ground, and exploit her on the ground where she's going to have the advantage there. But, obviously Casey's pretty good on the ground as well, and you never know. Maybe Casey's going to want to stay on the ground and mess around with her down there, but I don't feel like that's something she should do. Calvillo has 3 submissions in the UFC, including, 3 in her last 4 wins. And so she definitely also has some higher level wins, in my opinion, or I don't know, actually. Casey has some decent wins as well, so I can't say that she has higher level wins than Casey. But, I think that she's progressed further in her career. But Casey, she's a brawler. She's hit or miss. She's tough. She's very basic in her attack, though. Flat-footed. She likes to wait for you, try to counter with big punches. When you close the distance, she has good low kicks, but she doesn't throw them often. She has good hand speed. She has a nice straight right hand check left hook. She'll throw good right hook, left hook combination when you close the distance. She has a nice uppercut. She doesn't really go for takedowns herself. She has terrible takedown defense, just 25%. And, off her back, she is aggressive with submission. She'll attack quickly, but she doesn't get up off bottom. And, that's how she's lost a lot of fights. And I feel like she's going to engage on the ground with Calvillo. I feel like she's not going to be able to stop the takedowns. I feel like once it gets to the ground, she's going to want to try to get in a scramble, fight with Calvillo, try to submit her herself. And I feel like that's going to work to her detriment. And I think Cynthia Calvillo is going to eventually find the back and get a submission here. I know that Courtney Casey has good jiu-jitsu herself, but, she's been submitted by Pearl Gonzalez in the past. And I just feel like she's going to get submitted here. So I'm going to go with Cynthia Calvillo via second round submission in this fight. And she's going to keep it rolling and hopefully get a top 5-10 matchup in her next fight. We're moving on now to the co-main event of the evening. And James Vick, he's going to try to bounce back from absolutely brutal KO. He finally got the chance he wanted. He took on Justin Gaethje, got a main event, and he dropped the ball, man. You have to imagine where his mindset is after being so confident getting taken out like that. Paul Felder, he's coming off a loss to Mike Perry, but he still won 3 in a row at 155. He also broke his arm in that Perry fight, so who knows how it would have went down if that didn't happen. But James Vick, he's a huge 155er. He's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage in this fight, and he cuts an insane amount of weight. He said it affected his last performance, but doesn't want to give up his ranking at lightweight. And when I hear something like that, it really makes me question how diminished Vick is coming into the cage. But Vick has good movement. He throws nice long shots. He has a good jab built to the head, to the body. He has a nice straight right hand. He'll throw 1-2s down the middle. He does a good job doubling up on the jab. He also feint the jab through the straight right hand. He has a decent left hook. He knocked Joe Duffy out with a nasty uppercut. And he'll throw nice inside-outside leg kicks along with front kicks to the body. He'll throw side kicks to the body, to the head. Does a good job attacking the body early, then sneaking it up to the head. He'll throw nice spinning back kicks to the body. He can go high with it too. Nice step-in knees to the body, to the head. He has strong flying knees as well. He likes to dart in with a straight right hand or straight left or straight right hand combination and angle off. Good lateral movement, good distance control. Likes to slide back, land straight right hands, and his counters are usually shots that hurt opponents. He can't back himself up to the cage too much. He has a tendency to stand very tall after he gets hit. Justin Gaethje was able to exploit that, land a huge overhand right, and knocked him out cold. It was a devastating knockout, and you have to question Vick's chin at this point. He does throw a heavy volume of strikes. He has a great style to win decisions. He has 4 KO TKOs in his career, but 2 in his last 3 wins, so he's finding his power a little bit. He has been KO'd TKO'd 3 times in his 3 losses, and he's a great grappler. He has good takedown defense. If you do take him down, he's very dangerous with jiu-jitsu. He has very good get-ups, excellent chokes, good guillotines, darces, anacondas. Very dangerous on the mat. He's strong in the clinch. Nice knees and elbows. He's hard to take down there as well because of his height. He has 5 career submissions. He's never been submitted in his career. I doubt this fight will hit the ground. It will most likely be a stand-up fight. He has great cardio. He can go all 3 rounds. And Vick's going to want to keep the same style he always has. Move, use his length, throw volume, land kicks, straight punches. Keep Felder on the outside, try to catch it with the hard shot. Vick's never wrestled in his UFC career, really, but it is possible maybe he'll want to try to take Felder down and work his jiu-jitsu in this fight since he just got knocked out. Who knows? But Paul Felder, he's been showing the best form in his career since going to Rufus Sport. On the feet, he's technical. He has a nice jab, good left hook. He'll throw nice straight right hands. He has a nice 1-2. He likes to throw a right hand to the body to a left hook combination. He'll throw hard roundhouse kicks to the body, step in knees. He'll throw a knee to the body to a straight left combination. He likes to load up with brutal leg kicks. He has great spinning techniques, spinning back kicks, spinning back heel kicks to the face, spinning back fists. He'll throw spinning back elbows, front elbows. Definitely has power. Definitely is very creative in there. But I wouldn't call him, a knockout artist necessarily. He isn't a guy that is going to one-punch KO you. But he definitely has much more power, when he's in close range, man. That's where he has pretty devastating power. And he has a great chin as well. He's only been finished once in his career via TKO, and that was due to a cut by Trinaldo. And he's finished his last 3 wins via KO TKO. And he has quite a few KO TKOs in his career. So he's definitely someone that's dangerous on the feet. He's a dangerous grappler. He's shown he's good in all facets. His clinch game is strong. He has great knees to the body, to the head. Some of the best elbows in the business. He dropped Stevie Ray with a massive knee in the clinch, then followed up with devastating elbows to finish him off. Finished Oliveira with the same nasty ground and pound elbows after surviving a lot of deep submission attempts. He has some of the nastiest ground and pound along with Jeremy Stevens I've seen in a long time. And Felder's going to have to get inside, feel the clinch. He will be dangerous with the elbows, I feel, if he gets in that position. And for Vick's takedowns, he has good takedown defense. He has a good get-up game. He attacked with an armbar when he was taken down by Mike Perry in his last fight. He can get beat up in the clinch with the elbows himself. He was finished via cut against Ronaldo due to that. And Felder needs to close the distance, throw more than one. Vick can usually avoid the first shot rather easily, but he gets hit with the second. He dodged that left hook of Gaethje, but the overhand right that followed landed flush. And Felder doesn't normally strike in long combinations like that. It's going to be something he has to change to win this fight. I think getting Vick gets a clinch or against the cage in the clinch also is a good thing to do. Landing elbows, try to attack off the break. But I'm going to go with James Vick here. I feel his style is good to win a decision here in this matchup. It's hard to trust his chin, but Felder is someone who wants to go to war, stand and bang. He doesn't really throw in combination moving forward. I see Vick being able to keep him at range, land his shots, straight punches, kicks, avoid much damage, and win a decision here. But if he gets clipped on that chin, you have to wonder, man. You have to wonder if he's going to get put out again, especially at 155. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to go with James Vick to get the win. And oh man, I mean, here we get this amazing fight. Cain Velasquez, who some people regard as the best heavyweight of all time. He's finally making his return. It's his first fight since July 2016. He's fought 5 times since 2012, and he's going to be taking on Francis Ngannou. He's kind of a new fighter to come on the scene. He wasn't around when Cain was reigning at heavyweight. And it's an interesting matchup. Cain, he's headlining the first ever ESPN event. It's kind of interesting tidbit, there'll be a part of both Fox and ESPN debuts as the main event. And it is the debut for Fox. He got knocked out in under a minute, and he's going to be looking to redeem himself here, but he needs to be very careful early because with Francis Ngannou, there's a chance it happens again, and he suffered a long list of injuries. It's hard to gauge how he's going to come back here, but for Ngannou, he's been calling for Cain Velasquez for a while. He's been saying that he wants to fight him, and, so he's getting his wish here, and he's going to obviously need to have his takedown defense on point, unless he finishes him very early. But this is a very interesting matchup. It's a striker versus a grappler. It's a guy that's coming in off a very long layoff that you don't really know if he's going to be 100%. It's a guy that we've seen struggle with cardio against Cain, who's a guy that has incredible cardio. But on the feet, Velasquez, he's a very aggressive boxer. He has quick hands. He isn't very tactical, though, and he isn't that complex. He's very basic. But he'll start out, usually he'll throw some kicks, he'll circle around, then he'll start pressuring with his jab, with the straight right hand. He's good at jab, slipping shots to returning with the shot. And he's always looking to close the distance, to get inside, clinch, level change, get in on a shot after he throws punches. And, his cross is a very nice punch. It's crisp, it's accurate. He doesn't need a ton of distance to land the strike. And if his opponents are moving forward with a loopy punch or stuck against the cage, he'll throw a very pinpoint and land it very nice. And, he's very good at, avoiding foes' counters when he's slipping back, then landing a shot, pulling and landing counters. And, he was able to actually throw like a spinning back heel kick in his last fight. He showed a little bit of variety. He usually likes to get in a clinch. He'll throw a lot of, big knees to the body, a lot of short punches. And I feel like that's where he needs to go against Cain. Or against Francis. He's also a pretty decent kicker, but he doesn't always set up his low kicks, so he needs to be very careful throwing low kicks against Francis, because he could get hit with the counter haymaker down the middle. But he does have a good head kick. He usually closes distance with it very well. And but defensively, when he's pushing forward, he does a decent job of slipping. But Velasquez, his head stays kind of stationary. He's open to counters. He's very intent on moving forward, and he's very hittable as well. Travis Brown was hitting him with a couple shots. He does have a great chin, but getting hit like against a guy like Francis Ngannou is, going to be probably a big problem for him. He can't let himself get hit, but he's very good at setting up double legs. That's what he needs to do here, man. He needs to get in on a double leg or get in on a single leg, and his single is probably his best takedown. Obviously it's very similar to that of Daniel Cormier. He'll dump his opponent to the mat. He's very good at chaining takedown attempts together, eventually getting the finish. Doesn't get tired, and on top, he's one of the most active ground strikers. He'll throw constant barrage of punches. He's very good at getting in dominant positions, and if he gets on top of Francis Ngannou, he definitely could finish the fight, especially if Ngannou's tired. And for Ngannou, I feel like his best chance of victory is definitely going to be early on. He's going to have to catch Cain clean coming in. And, to be honest, I thought he looked very good against Curtis Blades. He landed that overhand right, just dropped to finish the fight. We've seen him land that uppercut against Overeem. And, the way I see this fight happening, man, is I see Cain Velasquez, I see him coming out fast. I see him trying to be very quick, closing the distance, getting inside. And I think he's going to get clipped, man. I think Francis Ngannou, I think he's going to touch him. I saw Travis Brown hit him with a straight right hand. And it's just going to be whether he's going to be able to eat that first shot and get inside, battle through, get the takedown, or if it's going to put him out cold. So, to me, I'm going to pick Francis Ngannou. I'm going to pick him via first-round knockout. And I think it's going to be early. So I think that Cain's going to have the unfortunate thing where he debuted on Fox main event and the ESPN main event and got knocked out in the first round. But that's going to be my pick. I'm going to pick Francis Ngannou via first round knockout in that fight. But for For the parlay of the week for this week, of the most confident pick. The most confident pick of the week, I'll say Vicente Luque to defeat Brian Barberena. And for the parlay of the week, I'll give you guys Vicente Luque and Scott Holtzman as the parlay of the week. And hopefully we can keep the momentum going. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Tell me who you have in your parlays for this week. Tell me if you won money, lost money last week, what you thought of the card. Obviously, we didn't really get to break down the card all that much. So that was a little unfortunate, but I didn't have a ton of time here today. But thanks again for watching, guys. Really hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next week.